Hello and welcome to the 30 Days to Standardbred Success program. My name's Nick Tassoni and I'm the founder of Raising the Standards. So what is this course all about? If you've made your way here, you probably follow Raising the Standards, or maybe you saw a bit of an announcement that the course is coming and you wanted to learn some more information. You might be here because you're someone who really connected to the idea that perhaps you have had your Standardbred for a while and you have done a lot more sitting, watching other people succeed things than actually getting out there and having success for yourself. That maybe you want more than what you've been doing. Maybe you've been inconsistent in your habits and a little bit guilty that your Standardbred spends a lot more time standing around in the paddock than actively doing things. Maybe you're someone who feels like you've had your confidence knocked and you don't really know how to overcome some issues, and because of that underlying sense of lack of confidence in your own abilities, or maybe some of the things that your Standardbred's doing is making you a bit nervous, you start to make excuses not to ride more. But the problem with that is the less time you spend in the saddle and the more irregularly you do something, if you leave a bit of a gap between when you rode last and when you ride next, you've got a lot of time in between to start to overthink things, and it can be a vicious cycle. And for a lot of us also, we just lead really busy lives, and although horses are a big passion and we certainly spend a lot of time caring for our animals, we just can't seem to find the way to actually slot riding time into a regular routine where it feels natural, doesn't feel exhausting to try and do the thing, and where we're constantly just experiencing little wins and achievements that keep pushing us forward. So if you can connect with any of those ideas, then you're in the right place. This is a 30-day program where every single day across the month of September, and there's a reason why we picked September, and that is because as you come out of winter, you're going to start scrolling social media and seeing across September and onwards, as the weather gets good, people start getting in the saddle more and doing things with their horses and showing off all those moments. But if you are not someone who has been riding regularly and that's not part of your routine, it's really hard to get started. And it can be really disappointing to watch everybody else from the sidelines doing great things and wishing you had that, but not knowing how to put the plans in place to actually make that happen. So that's why we picked September, because we come out of sort of winter hibernation. It's a bit boggy on the ground and wet and cold and miserable, and we start feeling like we really want to do the thing. But often what happens is we start going, yep, that's it, this September, this spring I'm going to ride more, it's going to be my best spring ever. And then we sort of make excuses, or we miss a week, and then we miss a week, and all of a sudden, September's gone, October's gone, and then we start to get to the flurry of Christmas and the heat kicks in again. And, if you're not on the front foot and really prepared for at the beginning of the good season and the turn of the season, then sometimes you just accidentally miss a lot of that period, and it can be really disappointing, and then it just gets like two hard baskets sort of thing. So every day in September, we will be doing an activity as part of this course. When you register, you get access to your student portal hosted at Digital Horse School. And every day a new activity will pop up in September. Now, because we're going to have riders doing a range of different things, different experience levels, pursuing a range of different disciplines, because Standardbreds are so versatile, it doesn't really make sense for this course to set out specific riding activities. And I'm also really respectful that going from not riding to trying to ride every day, it's not realistic, it's not sustainable, and so I'm not expecting everybody to get in the saddle and ride their horse every day in September. That's not what this is about at all. It's about setting out an activity every day that gets riders to really look within, to assess themselves, to critique themselves, to take a big picture view of their horsemanship journey, respective of the things they do in the saddle and all of the amazing things you can do around riding to really build a deeper connection with your horse, start to really increase your horse's strength and fitness, which helps them to progress, because green Standardbreds do far better when they are conditioned for, all those little movement changes and some of the things that they don't find as natural as riding horses. Having a fit, strong, supple horse is really important. It will help them to learn new skills a lot easier. And also, I think just developing and acknowledging that as riders, we need to learn the things before we ask our horse to do them. So if we want to introduce new skills into our workout, we really need to know what those skills look like, why we want to introduce them, and how we ask our horse, and to get the specifics. And we can do that at home. We don't need to be out of the paddock. So across 30 days, there'll be a different activity every day, and they'll get us to focus on a different aspect of our horsemanship journey. Some of the activities, for example, might be learning how to structure a workout so that you don't just go to the paddock, get in the saddle and ride around and accidentally end up doing the exact same thing you did the day before, and things that aren't necessarily moving towards your goals and the things that you want to achieve. There's sort of, sometimes there's a disconnect between riders wanting to do one thing and that's their big goal, but actually when they get in the saddle, they're not working on anything that is going to move them forward towards that goal. So it's about, we do a goal setting activity as a bonus before we get to September. So we really get our head in the game early, and that's why we open enrollments that far before September, to have all the plans in place so we know where we're going. But then in September, we might take our goal setting activity we did and then learn to break that down into steps. And then one of the daily activities might be, today we're going to learn how to plan a workout, and we're going to do that based on our unique journey, looking at the goals that we have and getting really specific, and knowing that if we only have an hour to ride our horse, to go to the paddock, put the gear on, get on the horse, that we want to really maximize that time, because it is precious, life's busy, and we need to start treating our time that we get in the saddle as being really valuable, and wanting to set that up so that we are doing the right things when we're riding to take us in the right direction. So for example, one of the 30-day activities will be how to structure a workout, and then how does that workout fit into a bigger overall plan, and then maybe looking at a weekly or a monthly schedule, and where your workouts are all going to fit together like a puzzle piece. So these are the sort of activities. Another one is going to be, we're doing a rider appraisal, where we're going to go out and film ourselves riding, and then I'm going to give you an assessment sheet, and you're going to work through that assessment sheet. When you get to that end of the assessment sheet, I want you to look at some of the key criteria and things that maybe you're struggling with, and how to improve on those skills throughout the month and beyond. So every day there will be a different activity, but they're things that you're going to do at home that will motivate you to have a focus when you get out to the saddle. And that's really important. I think it's naturally motivating to have things that will fit around a busy lifestyle. First of all, it's important that we're doing things that are realistic. The things that we do every day are things that we do at home, but they're going to drive you to want to get out to the paddock, to set the camera up, to do this activity. And then from that activity, what are the things that you're going to be inspired to go out and try, stemming off each activity. So this program is not forcing riders into the saddle to do things that they might not be capable of doing. It's not about expecting people to go from no riding to riding every day. It's actually about creating activities that work within your unique journey so that you get the most out of it. It is taking a big picture view, and it's also really playing into that philosophy of, if you catch someone a fish, they eat well for a day, but if you actually teach someone how to fish, they eat well for the rest of their life. This is not just about 30 awesome days of successes and little wins and learning activities, which will give you a massive sense of accomplishment in itself, but it's about then creating motivation across 30 days, which snowballs, so that after the 30 days you continue on doing things every single day with your horse and feeling really inspired and motivated. And also you can then come back to some of these activities and do them again periodically to just keep upping your game. You know what are the things that you need to look at to start to continue the progression, and they're things that are very applicable, every 6 months or every 12 months. So this is a really valuable course, not only in the 30 days, but beyond, and then to come back to. I think it's going to be really wonderful in that respect. So what do? You get access to your member portal, your student portal, with 30 days of activities. They're all video coachings, much like this, with accompanying worksheets, which you will actually print out and be able to do. You'll also get a hard copy diary, which I will send out to you in the mail, so that you will answer questions. At the beginning, you're going to do a bit of a self-analysis, write down where you're at the beginning of your journey, and then every day you're going to jot down notes about what you did that day and how you went, and so you can really track and measure that. That's awesome in itself, to be able to look back on after 30 days and see all of these little wins and these little light bulb moments that have you know, really just changed and transformed how you even think about horses, the kind of horse person you want to be. You've taken these active steps to get there. And then at the end of the month, you'll be able to do another little summary sort of overview. And hopefully, if you read the beginning of the month where you were at and at the end, you can see just how much is possible in just 4 weeks. This kind of thinking leads you to understand that even if you've had your Standardbred for several years and you haven't done very much, you can change everything in just 4 weeks. And that's the philosophy we're going off here, because I was a Standardbred retrainer. And when I think about it, I did a lot of, you know, healthcare checks and pre-breaking groundwork training with my horses before I got on them. But actually, in the end, when I got on them, I was only really riding them for 4 weeks. And in that 4 weeks, we achieved a huge amount of things. I had horses going out to rally days, clinics, competitions. I had horses who were getting graded, who were able to go out and do very specific skills such as, you know, training and qualifying for Victoria Police's mounted branch, riding for the disabled, light horse cavalry, horses that, you know, we had so much fun with. And I think if I look back on some horses, I think that was such an awesome horse, and I remember doing all these things, but I actually only had them in work for like 4 weeks between being broken to saddle and being rehomed. That's a lot of memories and moments to cram into a short period of time. And it actually didn't matter if a horse had been sitting in my paddock for 12 months beforehand. All of the awesome things we did were in just 4 weeks. So that's what I hope that you will understand. If you have been stuck in a rut or been really busy and haven't been able to make it happen, we can change everything in just 30 days. So that's what this program is all about. So one big key aspect of this 30-day program will be our private student group. We're going to have a Facebook group which is just for people who are enrolled in this program. And the reason behind that is because community support is so powerful. I've seen it in our team programs that we've run in the past. I've seen it through just human nature. If you think about the things that you do every day or every week religiously, the things that you show up for and push yourself to do even when you really don't feel like it, they're the things often that people are relying on you for. Whether it's going to work because you have to go to work because your boss might be, you know, checking in on you, or playing a team sport. You know, if it's 2 degrees and freezing cold, you're not going to be very motivated to go out there and, you know, line up in a netball skirt to play football, netball across the winter. I know in my region it's very cold. But people are doing it because they are showing up for their teammates. It's like personal training as well. The reason personal training is so successful as opposed to people trying to exercise on their own, and the reason why people pay personal trainers is so that there is someone that they have to be accountable for, that is waiting for them, that is going to say, no, you're not off the hook this easy. You need to show up for yourself, and for me, we need to get it done. So I think having a group behind you for that sense of accountability and showing up for other people is really important. But also working with green horses is really hard, and we are inevitably going to run into some problems, you know, varying degrees of difficulty as we go along. But if we're already having conversations with these people in these groups, because every day we're meeting to talk about the same topic, you know, each day although we're doing different things, the conversation will flow very naturally around what are we doing that day? This is what the training said. How did you guys find it? There's conversations. You're going to feel a lot more confident that if you do run into trouble because you're working through daily activities and you're more motivated to go out and ride, so you're riding your horse more often, and I didn't force you to do that. You just naturally decided that you want to be riding more, and you run into a problem. You've already got these friends, these people that are showing up for each other anyway, that you probably feel more confident saying, hey guys, it's me. Look, I actually have been doing this with my horse and I'm finding it really hard and he's not listening to me and I'm getting really upset. What do you guys think? Everybody, you're already going to have this sense of these are my people, and these people are going to be like, hey, let's support you through this. I went through this too. I tried this. It worked really well. I tried this. It didn't work. So maybe you can cut a corner by not trying that. Try this first. You know, it helps to pull people out of the rut where they sit at home feeling really frustrated, upset, defeated, and alone, by having people you know have got your back, who are going to say, no, you got this. Let's just keep moving forward. Let's workshop this together. I think the sense of support is amazing. It's also just really awesome when you get off your horse and you have that fist pumping moment where you did something. Maybe your horse did 2 full laps of the arena at trot with no pacing, and it's the first time ever. We understand, you know, you got a group of standardbred people who are not going to be like, yeah, okay, cool, you did 2 laps of trot, woohoo. Who are going to be like, man, 2 laps of trot, you're amazing. This is just the beginning, you know, that positive energy. It's just everything, I think. And, you know, horses are inherently a bit of a solo sport. Some of us are lucky enough to have friends who ride that we can go and visit and ride with every now and then, or a member of a club which might meet once a month. But for the most part, the majority of riding that we do and our experiences are on our own. So to be able to come together in a group and to share that really just takes it to the next level. And I think it makes you feel like you're part of something bigger than just yourself riding circles. You have a support network, you have a cheer squad, you have people who, you know, you just love following their journeys too. It's interesting, it's inspiring, it's motivating, and we can all be there for each other. So as part of the 30-day program, you will have 30 different activities each day, but you'll also come together and be invited into this group where every day on Facebook you can jump in. We're going to talk about the same topic, and then around that we're going to have lots of discussions about our own journeys and sharing with each other. And then finally we will have that journal, which I briefly touched on. Every day you're going to write down how you went. So there are 3 main elements to this program. There's a daily video coaching with accompanying worksheets. There is the Facebook group, and then there's the journal, and then there's all the things that you're just naturally going to do around that, because you are thinking about your horses every day, because you're being guided to try new activities which will push you to want to get out there and do more. And I just think it's going to be a really positive experience for a lot of riders. This program is for everyone who wants more, who is sick of sitting on the sidelines pretending to be happy for people. And yeah, you might be happy, but it's really hard to watch other people doing great things when you really want to do that yourself and you just can't make it happen. It makes you just question, am I ever going to get there? You know, am I wasting my time? Is this not for me? There are so many emotions connected to horses. I'm here to tell you that if you want more, if you are willing to show up, if you are willing to say, I want to do the thing and now I've got to make it happen, this is the program for you. It doesn't matter what discipline you follow. It doesn't matter how experienced or inexperienced you are. It doesn't matter when you last rode. It doesn't matter even if you want to go through this program and not sit in a saddle. You can start with the mindset that I'm just going to do an at-home activity every day. That's enough. But I guarantee you, as you start, you're going to be watching everybody else and seeing that some of the activities you can do are really easy and they don't need to push you to feel unsafe or out of your comfort zone. You can just make this work for you with where you're at. I think you're going to find that if you start with really low expectations of yourself and not pushing yourself too hard too quickly, it'll naturally happen for you. And this just might be the little snowball sitting at the top of the hill someone pushes, that gains momentum and just really brings you into that positive mindset and gives you the support that you have lacked in the past to make it happen. You know, I genuinely believe that the reason that people haven't been hitting their goals or doing the things that they want to do has nothing to do with their abilities as a horse person and everything to do with their mindset, their preparation, and just the way that they go about their everyday riding. If you can transform your thinking, your planning, your habits, and to really be prepared to look at yourself and to look at the horse person you want to be and to say, I'm going to make this happen. It's not going to happen overnight and it's not going to be a big stressful change. It's just going to be getting a little bit better every day. But I'm going to get better every day and I'm going to stop sitting in this rut. I think this program will be amazing for you. Okay, so what does it cost? This program is priced at 2 different tiers of pricing depending on when you enroll. And the reason that I have a discount for the people that get in early is because I really feel like this sort of program is something that you'll do so much better if you have the time and the breathing space to get yourself mentally prepared, to get your head in the game. We have bonus content, which is free trainings which start before September, and the earlier you enroll, the more time you have to naturally get to the next training and get to the next training. There are 2 main pre-trainings that you can do before the course, that you need to do before the course. Because if you're enrolling at the last minute, and I've got to send you, it's going to take nearly a week for some people depending on where you live. I've got to send you your hard copy book. It's going to take about a week to get to you, and there are activities in that book, little cards and things to do with the bonus trainings. You don't want to be getting that at the last minute, you journal at the last minute, because you've got to fill out some things for your journal, and then be trying to do the trainings and starting a course a couple of days later. It's going to put you in a really frazzled state of mind. And I want everybody coming into this program to feel really relaxed, confident, know what's coming, and to have already started making those little steps each day that will mean that when we start in September, you're not going from nothing to doing something every day. You're already starting to really know what's coming and to have a bit of a plan behind you. It's just going to be a lot more natural. So I really want to encourage you to get involved early and to enroll as soon as you see this. The other reason why I want you to enroll early is because I feel like if you're still watching along, you've probably been nodding your head when I've been talking about, you know, not following through on things, saying you're going to do the things and then not doing them. This may be a habit of yours. It may actually be a habit outside of horsemanship. And what it does is, often people get really excited if you're in this thinking, and this is how you might be, that, you know, excuses pop up a little bit and stop you doing things. You might be watching this going, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to enroll. I'll enroll tomorrow. I'm just a little bit busy this afternoon. Whatever the excuse is that's getting in your way, you're going to miss out on opportunities, because when you say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, you won't. Something will pop up, you'll get distracted, you'll get busy, and tomorrow will be, oh crap, I better set an alarm to do that tomorrow. And you'll miss out, because in a few days' time, you'll have done that backwards thinking that gets in the way in our horsemanship journey, where you start talking yourself out of things that are actually really good for you. And what will happen is you'll miss out, you won't enroll, and then you'll get to September and you'll see everybody else doing these awesome things, and you won't be doing them, and you'll feel really bummed. And I'm sorry to take it to that level, but that's what you're facing here if you don't take action immediately. So I really want you, if you are watching this video connecting to the kind of rider that it appeals to, if you think this is for you, then don't give yourself an excuse. Go to the car now and get the credit card that we're going to say I'm going to wait for, because enrolling early not only gives you time to get into the headspace, but it means you take action. And when you put skin in the game and get behind it and say, I've committed to it, I've paid for it, I've gotten enrolled early, you're more likely to follow through. So if you enroll early, this course has basically two pricing structures. We have an early bird special offer, which runs from the 8th of July until the 20th of July. And then the course remains open for enrollment for another month, from the 20th of July until the 20th of August. And at the 20th of August, it cuts off. I need a good 11 days breathing space to send out all of the journals and the goal setting activities and all the hard copy stuff out to people. We've got to make sure AusPost does their thing. And when it arrives, you are going to need time to start jotting things down in your journal and, doing the free coaching before you start. But the less time you leave yourself, you're going to be really frazzled. You're going to be trying to do all the things, and it's not going to set you up to be in a good frame of mind when you begin. So I really want to encourage everyone to get in early. And that's why we have early bird offers. So the early bird offer that I'm putting forward is $50 off your enrollment price. So first of all, your first incentive to get in before the 20th of July is that you're going to save money, $50. So the normal cost of the program is $197, and if you enroll between the 8th and the 20th of July, it will be $147, which is for your diary, your daily video coachings and activity sheets, and your participation in the community, and hopefully a whole bunch of positive experiences and a big transformation. But also we're going to have some extra bonuses for anybody who gets involved and signs up between the 8th of July and the 20th of July. So I'm just going to run through what they are now. So for $147, if you get in before the 20th of July, you will get your journal, your access to the course, and your invitation to the Facebook group. You'll also get your bonus goal setting activity. It's a full workshop and cards. You'll get a bonus brain dump activity, which we will do before the course as well. And then for early birds only, so everybody gets that. But if you enroll before the 20th of July, you will also get 2 pieces of bonus content. The first one is I've selected a small collection of expert interviews, which were from our team membership program, which were with various experts discussing key areas of standardbred breed training and mindset. So we had an expert mindset coach called Danielle Pools from Dressage Plus. She did a workshop on, identifying our big why and to really think about what we want to achieve in our horsemanship journey and how to do that. And that's an entire training. I think it went for nearly an hour. That is included. I also went out to the racetrack and spoke to a whole bunch of harness racing trainers to get their perspective on how their standardbreds were trained. And I find it really interesting because sometimes with standards, you've got to know where they've come from to know where they're going. So that's a really interesting little video sort of training in itself, and certainly one to sit down and jot down notes. So that's included. And then the third one, I did an interview with a very successful standardbred rider, Jenny Holloway, who is based in Queensland. She has trained her standardbreds up to supreme champion level. They've won state titles in multiple states. And one of her standardbreds is competing elementary dressage. And I really just jumped into Jenny, and she shared so much information about how she approaches retraining and some of the little things she does along the way. And I think it was just a really interesting conversation, particularly for those of us who want to see what's possible, but also how these people are retraining these standardbreds to do such great things. So the small collection of 3 interviews, which are really meaty in themselves, is a bonus. Are bonuses that will be attached to people who get in on the early bird. And also I have put together a separate training which is on the biggest mistakes that I see standardbred riders make time and time again, the ones that hit my inbox the most or roll in the front gates for lessons. What riders are doing and what I would do to solve these big problems. So I have a bonus coaching on big mistakes that are really common and how to fix them. So if you get in before the 20th of July, you'll save $50, and you'll also get those 3 expert interviews plus the extra bonus coaching, which are my how to fix it on standardbred retraining problems, and that's an entire workshop coaching in itself. So I really hope that not only with the bonus content you see the value in that, but also that you're getting in early. You're giving yourself breathing space and time to work through the pre-course content. And also you're just making that commitment early so that, if it was me, future Nicole can't just weasel out of something, say, I'm going to do the course, I will enroll later, forget about it, not enroll in it. Like, I want to do the thing, and it's time that I start calling myself out and I'm going to do the thing. So I'm going to commit to it, sign up for it, and I'm feeling really good about making that decision and then start making the steps towards making it happen. Now you might be watching this thinking, well, that's quite a lot of money for me. Don't know if I can afford that. I feel really guilty spending that sort of money on myself. And we riders, we do that. We often spend though so much money focusing on and spending our hard-earned dollars on the wrong things. And I'll tell you how that works. So every week the same bills are going to roll in for the privilege of having a horse standing in a paddock that belongs to you. Some of us will pay agistment, feed, hay's expensive at the moment, hard feed, dentistry, farrier costs regularly, worming, new rugs when they trash their old ones, upgrading our gear every now and then. We also had to buy the horse to begin with, transport costs. There are so many costs attached to the privilege of horse ownership. And we spend it without thinking, but we often spend it without thinking and also without actually quantifying that in terms of what is the value I'm getting out of that. Now, if you are someone who just gets full stop immense value out of having a horse standing in a paddock, that's great. But chances are, if you're still here watching this, you are actually someone who wants to be riding, and you would probably feel like it's a great return on investment. My husband's an accountant, so sometimes I have to talk in these terms. And it's uncomfortable as a horse person to think about money like this, for me, I find. But you feel like you're getting far more value if you're actually riding your horse. And it can make you feel guilty if you are someone who doesn't have a lot of money, or if you're someone who is spending all this money, and you might feel guilty that you're spending this money and then you have to justify it to a spouse or somebody in your life when you're not actually actively riding. It gets harder to justify owning a horse when you're not doing anything with that horse if you really want to be doing something with your horse. So a great exercise, if you think that this is a big investment, is actually to take everything you've spent on your horse in the last year. So go, okay, I had my horse had their feet shod or trimmed 4 times last year. How much does it cost each time the farrier comes out? Divide that down by, my farrier comes every 6 weeks, so then I divide that down by 6. You know, like throw all of your costs, weekly adjustment on there, bought a new saddle, divide that cost down by 52 weeks. Like, see if you can get yourself as close as possible to an accurate every week cost. And then look at that amount of money, and then I want you to think about, in the last year, if you're spending that amount of money every single week, how many times did you ride your horse? Is it actually cheaper to go out and have a riding lesson on a school horse and not own a horse? Isn't that a devastating thought? Like, it's horrible to think about that, but sometimes actually owning a horse is a really expensive thing that we're not getting a return on in terms of our enjoyment factor. Every successful horse person I have ever met, the difference between them and the unsuccessful ones is purely because the ones who want to go somewhere put some money behind it. They pay for lessons. A lot of riders I know have lessons every single week with an instructor. They pay between $60 and $80 every single week for a lesson. And they think that's a good investment because they have their lesson and then they're more encouraged to ride their horse every day. So, you know, getting help can be expensive, but there can be a great return on that. And I do think, and I'm not someone who coaches very often, so I'm just supporting all the instructors out there because I think that there's a reason why people are successful by having coaching. This course is taking that mentality that you want to start doing more, yeah? If you're going to spend this money on your horse anyway, throw a little bit more at it and actually get yourself into a headspace where you know how it looks and you can self-direct your learning. As we said, beyond this 30 days, you're going to get such immense value across the board that in itself is valuable. But also when you compare the costs of one of these courses to private riding lessons, there's a huge difference again. I mean, you probably couldn't afford to have somebody come out and teach you something new every single day. So the power of having a group program is that I can afford to teach one to many and make it affordable for everybody. But you log in online, the activities are there for you every day. You can go back over them at any time you want. That course will sit there. You'll have lifetime access to it, so you can come back at any time and have a look. And you don't get out of the saddle and go, that was a great lesson, and then forget all the things you learned. Like, it's there, it's written down, it's in the Facebook group. There's so much value to it. So I think not only is investing in your education so important so that you can work through the problems, move through the ruts, and start to see some consistency and progress, but I think just the cost of this price compared to the other options, which you may or may not have tried, it's really affordable if you break down what's the value to you to have an entire support network, an entire team of little personal trainers behind you, and to have someone giving you an activity every single day. I think it's well beyond the price of the program. And I just wanted to sort of point that value out. I think sometimes we balk at the things that probably will provide us with the most value long term, which is, think about yourself. You're allowed to be selfish. We always think about our horses and take really good care of them, but are you developing yourself and furthering your own education and knowledge as a horse person? If the answer is no, then you're not going to be able to work through the challenges. So, you know, this is a really great way of doing it intensively. And really, when you look at the options out there for coaching, I think it's a really affordable option for everyone. Now, you might be watching this thinking, great, yes, I want to do it. But it's not the 8th of July. What you need to do is click the button below to go to our special waitlist page. We actually have some very special things on offer before the 8th of July for anyone who joins our VIP waitlist, which says that you're going to do this thing, that you're going to sign up, that you're really keen to be part of this program. And if you add your details to our waitlist, I will reach out to you and let you know when you can enroll, which just cheekily will be a little bit before the 8th. And what additional bonuses we have on offer for you. So please click the button below to join the waitlist.